Hello, English learners! Welcome back to Talk Ema, your cozy place to build English confidence. I'm Emma, and something funny happened to me this morning.
Hi, Emma, and hello, everyone. Now, I'm curious. You sound excited already. So tell us what happened and why you've been thinking about it all day.
I was making coffee when my neighbor from Brazil knocked on my door. She smiled and asked, "Emma, how are you?" And I answered automatically.
Let me guess. You probably said, I'm fine, thank you, because that's what many English learners say without even thinking about it.
Exactly. But then she looked at me and said, "No, I mean really, how are you?" That's when I realized I was giving a robot answer.
I do that too. Sometimes people ask me a question, and I answer so quickly that I don't stop to think about what I really want to say.
And that brings us to today's topic. We're talking about 50 common English questions that people ask every day in real-life situations.
That sounds useful because as learners hear these questions at work, at school, in stores, at coffee shops, and during everyday conversations.
Exactly. Knowing the question is important, but knowing how to answer naturally is even more important if you want to sound confident and friendly.
So we are not learning textbook answers today. We are learning real answers that native speakers actually use when talking to other people.
That's right. Let's start with greetings and feelings because these are questions almost everyone hears every single day from friends and strangers.
Okay, Emma, be honest. When someone asks, how are you? What answer do most English learners usually give without thinking very much?
Most learners say, "I'm fine, thank you," every single time. It's correct, but it can sound automatic if you always use the same answer.
I'm guilty of that. It's safe and easy, but it doesn't really tell people how I'm feeling or help continue the conversation naturally.
Exactly. Real conversations are about connection. You can say, "I'm doing great today," "I'm a little tired," or "things are going well lately."
So it's perfectly okay to be honest and share a little more about how you feel instead of repeating the same answer every day.
Yes, it's completely okay to be honest. Sharing a little about your real feelings makes you sound warm, friendly, and much more human in conversations.
That makes sense. But I often hear different greetings like, how's it going? What's up? And how have you been? Are they all the same?
They are similar, but each one has a different feeling. "How are you?" is polite, "How's it going?" is casual, and "What's up?" is very relaxed.
And how have you been? Is usually for someone you haven't seen for a while because they want to hear what has happened in your life lately.
Exactly. If someone says, "What's up?" a natural answer could be, "Not much, pretty busy these days," or "just relaxing." Keep it simple.
That sounds much more natural than saying, I'm fine, thank you, every time. I can already imagine using these answers with friends.
Great. Now let's move to another important topic. Introducing yourself. Many learners feel nervous when people ask them to talk about themselves.
I definitely do. If I walk into a new job and someone says, tell us about yourself, my mind suddenly becomes completely empty.
That happens to many people. I remember my first job. I stood in front of a group of coworkers and felt nervous for several long seconds.
Really? What did you say when everyone was waiting and looking at you? I need to know because that situation sounds terrifying.
Honestly, I said, "Hi, I'm Emma. I like coffee." Everyone laughed, but it relaxed the room and made the introduction feel easier.
That makes sense. But I often hear different greetings like, how's it going? What's up? And how have you been? Are they all the same?
Exactly. A good introduction can include your name, where you're from, what you do, and one interesting fact about yourself or your goals.
So I could say, I'm Jack. I'm from Seoul. I work in marketing and I'm learning English because I want to travel more.
Perfect. And when someone asks where you're from, try adding something extra like, I'm from Seoul. Have you ever visited there?
That's smart because it keeps the conversation moving. Instead of giving a short answer, I'm inviting the other person to respond too.
Exactly. Good conversations are not only about answering questions, they are also about creating opportunities for the other person to join in.
What other common questions do people ask when they first meet someone or want to get to know them better?
People often ask your name, age, job, family situation, or hobbies. Another popular question is, what do you do for fun?
My honest answer would probably be, I watch videos on my phone, which doesn't sound very exciting when I say it out loud.
That answer is fine. Just add details. For example, I enjoy watching travel and cooking videos on YouTube. Details make answers interesting.
I see. The more specific I am, the easier it becomes for people to continue the conversation and ask follow-up questions naturally.
Exactly. Now let's talk about everyday questions you hear in places like stores, offices, cafes, and restaurants during daily life.
Those situations always make me nervous because people sometimes speak quickly, especially in busy restaurants where everything happens so fast.
Once I visited a fast food restaurant in New York, and the cashier asked several questions so quickly that I could barely understand any of them.
Let me guess. You nodded and agreed to everything because you didn't want to ask them to repeat the questions or slow down.
Exactly. I ended up ordering the biggest meal, extra items, and far more ketchup than I needed because I didn't understand clearly.
That's funny, but it teaches an important lesson. It's perfectly okay to say, could you repeat that? Or could you speak more slowly?
Absolutely. Many learners feel embarrassed, but native speakers ask people to repeat things all the time when they miss something in conversation.
That makes me feel better. Sometimes I worry that people will get annoyed, but most people are happy to help when you ask politely.
Exactly. Useful phrases like, I'm sorry, I didn't catch that, or could you say that again, can make daily conversations much easier.
I love those expressions because they sound natural and confident. They help keep the conversation going instead of making me panic.
Now let's move to another important category. Questions about opinions and feelings. These questions help people connect on a deeper level.
You mean questions like, what do you think? Or, how do you feel about this? Those appear in conversations almost everywhere.
Exactly. Many learners know what they want to say, but need a little extra time to organize their thoughts before answering clearly.
That happens to me often. Sometimes I have an opinion, but I need a few seconds before I can explain it in English.
A great solution is using filler phrases like, that's a good question, let me think, or to be honest. They give you time.
So those phrases are not useless words. They help me think, stay calm, and sound more natural while preparing my real answer.
Exactly. Even fluent native speakers use fillers every day. They make conversations flow naturally and help speakers organize ideas smoothly.
That's interesting, because I used to think those small expressions were mistakes, but now I see they are part of natural speech.
Imagine your boss asks for your opinion about a new project. You can begin with a filler and then share your thoughts confidently.
For example, I could say, "To be honest, I think it looks promising, but I would like more information before deciding."
Perfect. The words are simple, but the answer sounds professional and thoughtful. Confidence often comes from practice, not difficult vocabulary.
That's why daily practice matters so much. The more we speak, the easier it becomes to answer questions without fear or hesitation.
Before our vocabulary section, let's discuss one more common topic: questions about plans, goals, and future activities with friends.
I hear those questions all the time. People often ask what I'm doing this weekend or whether I have any plans coming up.
Exactly. These questions seem simple, but your answers can reveal your interests, personality, and the things you enjoy doing most.
If I simply answer nothing, the conversation usually ends. There isn't much for the other person to ask about after that.
Right. Instead, you could say, I'm thinking about visiting the restaurant downtown, which gives the other person something to discuss.
That small detail makes a big difference because it invites more conversation and helps people learn more about who you are.
For example, if you say, I'm thinking about trying a new restaurant this weekend, you can add, have you been there before? And keep talking.
I like that. Instead of giving a short answer, I answer, add a detail, and ask a question back. That keeps the conversation moving naturally.
Exactly. That simple method works in English and almost every language. It helps conversations feel more friendly, balanced, and interesting.
But what about personal questions? Sometimes people ask things like how much I earn or why I'm not married yet, and that feels awkward.
That's a great question. In some cultures, those questions are normal, but in others, they can feel too personal or uncomfortable to answer.
So what should I do if I don't want to answer? I want to stay polite, but I also want to protect my privacy.
You can politely redirect the conversation. For example, say, I'd rather not talk about that, or I'm still figuring that out myself.
Those responses sound friendly and respectful. They let me avoid the topic without sounding angry, rude, or uncomfortable with the person.
Exactly. Social English is very important. Knowing how to handle different situations can be just as valuable as learning grammar rules.
I completely agree. Today's lesson has taught me much more than vocabulary. It has shown me how real conversations actually work.
Great. Now it's time for our vocabulary section. We'll share useful expressions that you can start using in your daily conversations today.
Perfect. I'm ready because these practical phrases are often the easiest way to sound more natural and confident when speaking English.
Phrase number 1 is, I didn't catch that. Use it when you do not hear or understand something someone has just said.
For example, you can say, "Sorry, I didn't catch that." Could you say it again? It sounds much more polite than simply saying, "What?"
Exactly. Phrase number 2 is, to be honest. Use it before sharing your true thoughts, feelings, or personal opinion about something.
For example, "To be honest, I'm a little nervous about this presentation." It sounds sincere and helps build trust in conversations.
That's right. Phrase number 3 is, that's a long story for another day. It's useful when a topic is complicated or personal.
I really like that phrase because it lets you avoid a difficult question politely while keeping the conversation friendly and relaxed.
This phrase is very useful when someone asks a personal question. You can smile and say, that's a long story for another day, and move on.
I definitely need that one. If someone asks why I'm still single, I can use that phrase and avoid a long explanation without sounding rude.
Exactly. Now let's look at phrase number 4. Not bad, just a little tired. It's a natural and honest answer to how are you?
I like it because it sounds real. It shares a little information about how I feel instead of repeating the same answer every day.
That's right. Small details make conversations feels more human. People usually connect better when your answers sound honest and personal.
And it definitely sounds more interesting than saying, I'm fine, thank you, every single time someone asks how I'm doing.
Exactly. Our fifth phrase is, what about you? Or have you ever? These are excellent tools for keeping a conversation alive and active.
For example, I can say, I'm from Korea. Have you ever visited? Or I enjoy hiking on weekends. What about you?
Perfect examples. These simple questions invite the other person to join the conversation and help create a real connection between people.
I'm surprised how much difference a few small phrases can make. They make conversations feel smoother, friendlier, and much more natural.
Exactly. Even learning just these 5 expressions can make your English sound more confident and help you enjoy conversations more.
I really enjoyed today's episode. Honestly, I feel much more prepared to talk with people instead of worrying about every word I say.
That's wonderful. And I want everyone listening to remember one important thing. English conversation is not about being perfect every time.
It's about being present, listening carefully, sharing your thoughts, and connecting with people instead of focusing only on mistakes.
Use simple words, add details, ask questions back, and don't be afraid to pause and think. Those habits make conversations stronger.
And please stop giving automatic robot answers all the time. You're a real person, so let your personality show when you speak.
Before we finish, we have a question for all our listeners. What English question is the hardest for you to answer confidently?
Maybe it's tell me about yourself. What do you think? Or another question that makes you nervous during conversations.
Write your answer in the comments because we love reading your responses and learning about your English journey and experiences.
And if you want to practice English with us every day, subscribe to Talk Ema because we share new lessons regularly for you.
Thank you so much for spending your time with us today. Keep practicing, keep learning, and keep believing in your progress.
Take care, everyone. Every conversation is a chance to improve your English and grow your confidence. We'll see you in the next episode.